Hello and welcome back to Football Daily, where today we've curated a list of 10 players who should be looking for a move this summer. 10. Paul Pogba. In 2012, Paul Pogba left Man United at 19 following a disagreement with Alex Ferguson, having made just 3 senior appearances for the club. Fast forward 6 years and it looks like the playmaker could be leaving Old Trafford again in relatively similar circumstances. A move to Juve bared fruit for the youngster, who went on to prove that he could be world-class in Serie A. In his best season, he was directly contributing to 20 league goals, and during his stint in Italy, he picked up 4 Italian titles. For £98 million, he returned to the Prem, and despite having the skill set to commandeer any midfield, injuries have hindered his form over the 17-18 season. Meanwhile, his relationship with Mourinho and inability to suit the Portuguese's methodical and low-risk style of play has left the 25-year-old well out of favour. In the peak of his career, a player of Pogba's calibre should be pretty much walking into any side, but over the last 12 games, he has played the full 90 minutes just 4 times, spending more of his time on the bench snarling at his manager. Sorry United fans, including myself, but to become the true world beater we all know he is, Pogba may need to leave Mourinho and Manchester United ASAP. Rumours are circulating that PSG and Real Madrid are after the midfielder, and just imagine what the man who has an average of 0.5 assists and 1.2 key passes per 90 in a negative Mourinho team could do on the left of a midfield three with Ronaldo ahead of him. 9. Anthony Martial. We'd love to say this is the last United player on the list, but Anthony Martial belongs in the long list of talented players not reaching their full potential in Manchester. In the past, the likes of Di Maria, Zaha, Mkhitaryan and Depay have all failed to show off their flair in the theatre of dreams, and the Frenchman may face the same fate they did. Over the 17-18 season, over half of Martial's appearances in the Red Devils jersey have come off of the bench. Despite only starting 17 times in the league, he has contributed to 14 goals, but the arrival of Alexis Sanchez pushed him further down the pecking order. After arriving for £54 million in 2015, he was set to become the next Thierry Henry, but the Frenchman is and should be looking at life away from Manchester. Just like the 2 candidates for 2017-18 Player of the Season, De Bruyne and Salah, Martial needs to escape Mourinho in order to fulfil his full potential. Rumours have emerged that the 22-year-old has already handed in a transfer request amidst interest from Juve, PSG, Atletico Madrid and Barcelona. Valued at just €60 million, in this market, someone could pick up a quality player for a bit of a bargain. 8. Reuben Nevers. Reuben Nevers, who began his career playing for local club Porto, has been making waves in his debut season in the Championship. After joining Wolves in July 2017 for a record-breaking £15 million, Neves started extremely positively, getting on the score sheet by August despite being a defensive midfielder. His penchant for a long and precise ball into the box and ability to drive attacks through midfield and an average of 2.3 tackles per 90 has led Wolves to wrap up the league almost a month early. His success hasn't been limited to club level either. Back in 2014, during an under-17s tournament, Neves was highlighted as one of the most promising players and earned himself a premature call-up to the under-21 side at just 17 years old. Now 21, he is adamant in committing his future to his newly promoted club. But the smartest move for Neves would be to ditch the relegation dogfight he's about to embark on and switch to one of the many clubs touting for his signature, including Liverpool, where he could develop under Jurgen Klopp. 7. Riyad Mahrez. Riyad Mahrez may have been a vital cog in the Leicester side that defied the odds to win the league in 2015-16, but he should have left the Midlands straight after. Following the path of N'Golo Kanté, for example, who became the first player to win consecutive titles with different clubs, would have been the wisest move of his career. Instead, Mahrez opted to stay for another season, deluded that the Foxes could stay competing for the Champions League. This meant Mahrez went from being a league champion, the first African to win the Players' Player of the Year, and 8th in the Ballon d'Or, to mid-table mediocrity within a season. At the end of 16-17, the Algerian announced that he wanted to leave the 12th place club, saying that he is fiercely ambitious and now is the time to move on to a new experience. Having handed in another transfer request in January, he's still looking for a move 2 years after the Foxes' famous title win. Still a key figure in the Leicester squad, Mahrez has started 29 league games this season, contributing 10 goals and 8 assists. But considering his transfer request is 2 campaigns overdue, he needs to move on before he passes his peak. After all, he turns 28 next year. 6. Mesut Ozil. Mesut Ozil is the definition of a big fish in a small pond at the Emirates. Arsenal's 2017-18 season can be split in half 2 ways, playing at home and playing away, and when Ozil is in the team and when he isn't. The German international is the fastest player to reach 50 assists in Premier League history and is the creative hub of a Gunners side that have scored 62 goals in the Prem this term. However, for the World Cup winner, La Liga champion and one of the best playmakers in the game at the moment, Ozil really shouldn't be wasting his talent in the Europa League. He has gone from playing in teams surrounded by the likes of Ronaldo, Alonso and Cazorla to looking across the pitch at El Neni, Xhaka and Welbeck. He might have the club on strings, allowed to play when and where he wants, but at 29 years old, he has had limited time playing at the very top of the game and needs to look past his comfortable setup in North London for an upgrade back into the creme de la creme of European football, where he belongs. 5. Ryan Sassanian. 17-year-old Ryan Sassanian hogged the headlines after becoming the first Championship player to ever be put forward for the PFA Young Player of the Year. Produced by Fulham's academy, Sassanian has been in sublime form this season, having found the net 14 times in the league and assisted on 6 occasions, becoming a figurehead for the West Londoners in their quest for promotion. However, at just 17 years old, he's proved that he is way out of Fulham's league. He's torn England's second flight apart over the course of the season, picking up 5 awards before the close of the campaign, including Championship Player of the Season, Young Player of the Season, and Apprentice of the Season. Naturally, this has thrust him into the spotlight of European clubs scouting for young talent, leaving his future as his boyhood club in question. While he will definitely be given more playing time at Craven Cottage, a move to Spurs, United or Monaco could be an invaluable career move for the youngster. 4. Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard at Chelsea is a similar situation to Mesut Ozil at Arsenal, a world-class player set to miss out on Champions League football in 2018-19. Over the course of his 6-year stay at Stamford Bridge, Hazard has bagged 2 Premier League titles, got his hands on the Europa League trophy, and been named in the Team of the Year 4 times. This season he scored 12 goals and assisted 3, a tally not worlds away from his total of 19 during Chelsea's league-winning campaign last season. But this term, Conte's unsettled side sit in 5th, 5 points behind 4th place Spurs at the time of recording. The Belgian has refused to commit his future to Chelsea, saying he will sign his new contract after the World Cup. That means he's left the door wide open for the long-awaited offer from Real Madrid, who appear to have been circling the attacking midfielder for the last 2 windows. With Gareth Bale close to exiting Madrid, Zidane is said to be interested in prizing Eden away from London, but Hazard will have to keep his fingers crossed that they will match the £80 million price tag hanging around his neck. 3. Luke Shaw. Southampton have established themselves as one of the Premier League's most successful feeder clubs, with academy graduates including Oxlade-Chamberlain, Adam Lallana and Gareth Bale. In 2014, Luke Shaw looked like one of their most exciting exports when he moved to Man United for £30 million, becoming the most expensive teenager in the world at the time. Shaw was a dynamic left-back whose ability to join in attack often led to comparisons to Gareth Bale, who was also played as a fullback at the start of his career. And his time at Old Trafford got off to a solid start under Louis van Gaal. By the start of the 2015-16 campaign, Shaw had established himself in United's backline, having started every game until a Champions League match against PSV, when a tackle from Hector Moreno left him with a double leg fracture and a 7-month absence from football. With just 7 league starts under his belt this season, at 22 years old, Shaw finds himself on the sidelines behind Ashley Young, and on the odd occasion when he does get a run out, he automatically becomes Mourinho's scapegoat. Surely the only option now is to leave Manchester and rebuild his career somewhere else before his contract runs out at the end of the year. 2. Marco Reus. The question mark surrounding Marco Reus's career is still lingering, as he spent an increasing amount of time away from Borussia Dortmund's first team and in the treatment room. Injuries have gnawed into his career, with Reus having played just 7 league games this season and having only started 13 games in the previous campaign. Despite his lack of fitness, he has proved his quality, still averaging a goal every other game, proving that he is one of Dortmund's best players when he plays. While it would be disappointing to see him leave Dortmund before earning a proper piece of silverware, it's probably time the German outfit give up on restoring the 28-year-old's career. The frequency of his injuries has consistently grown over each campaign, and as the second highest paid player on BVB's roster, he is costing $160k a week for his residency in the doctor's office. Having missed 48% of possible games over the last 4 years, it just doesn't make sense for them to keep Reus at the Westfalenstadion. Allowing him to rehabilitate his career elsewhere and free up some money at the same time could help Dortmund to compete against Bayern's current monopoly on the Bundesliga. 1. Oscar. Our list mainly features players too good for their club, a notion that is totally embodied by Oscar, who is not only too brilliant for his club, but for his entire league. During his time at Chelsea, Oscar won 2 titles for the Blues, but in 2017, at just 25 years old, he opted to head east. Oscar left London to join Shanghai SIPG for a reported £60 million and earned $320k a week in the process. And ever since, he's been grabbing the top spot in curated list of biggest footballing sellouts. While he has been busy counting his cash, the Chinese dream has pretty much collapsed around him, with players such as Carlos Tevez all realising before the Brazilian that the CSL isn't worth the money. This season, in a total of 6 games so far, the playmaker has scored 3 times and assisted a monumental 7 goals. That's an average of a goal involvement 1.6 times a game, which is frankly stupid. Having already admitted that his move to China was motivated by money and not a choice he made for the benefits of his career, at 26 years old, Oscar still has time to revive himself in a more competitive league. Come on, mate, what are you doing?
So thanks for watching once again. If you enjoyed this, why not click on screen right now for one of our other videos? And as always, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.